Ooh, good sized bass. I should have grabbed him. Hook's too small on this thing. All right, guys. So I get the question, what do? I just want to catch a fish. I don't care what it is. I don't care about the species. I don't care how big it is. I just want to catch a fish. Well, I have an answer for you for that. Because lots of times whenever we're going fishing, we have a target species and we want that particular target. We want to catch those and we want to catch the largest ones that we can. But the issue is that sometimes when you go, it's just plain tough to fish. It's difficult to catch something. So I want to tell you about something, and you probably already know. If you don't, then this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread as far as fishing is concerned, so that you can catch fish no matter what or no matter when. All right. And in my opinion, any body of water that you will go to, I don't care if the water is muddy, it doesn't make a difference if it's clear or shallow or deep, the stage of the spawn or anything else makes no difference. All right. And that is a humble bait called the beetle spin. So beetle spin is simply a little spinner and a grub with a jig head. Basically, it is a miniature version of a spinner bait. Now, I would suggest, by the way, to have multiple sizes of these things. It's also a great bait to put on for people who are inexperienced fishermen or children, so that they can still get in on the action and catch some fish. You may like to use a particular style bait, but throwing a beetle spin, you're going to catch something. And there's three basic sizes. There's like a 1/16, a quarter, and a 3/8. And obviously the smaller one is going to have more opportunity, just the 1/16 ounce here with this little tiny spinner on it. And this thing, I mean, it's the same weight as if you're throwing a 1/16 ounce jig for crappie. And by the way, I've caught a lot of crappie on these little baits. The other thing that's cool about it is how inexpensive they are. Couple dollars maybe for a pack, and you get, the spinner. One of the grubs is already rigged up on the jig head, and you get a pile of these little grubs that come with it, all right, to change them out. So you have options with this. The other thing is that there's a variety of colors. There's blacks, this one with the white with the red dot on it. It's very old. By the way, this bait, I believe, was invented in 1958 by a man named Virgil Ward, and it has essentially been in production since. Now, it's been in production since, not because of great marketing, not because of the infomercials that run at night or endorsement by a celebrity or anything like that. It's been in production for that long because it works. That's it, because it works. I've been in places where it was just difficult to catch a fish. I didn't know what to do or where to start. And if you started off with something like this, you're going to catch fish. And by the way, just on a beetle spin, I've caught 4 or 5 pound bass on these things. Now you have to be careful because the hook is really thin wire hook. It's very sharp, but it's a thin wire hook, so you have to play them out to get them in. You're not going to horse them in. But nevertheless, they just catch fish. That's all there is to it. And they're going to catch a variety of things. So you don't really know what you're going to catch when you throw. You may catch a bass, a bluegill, chinquapin, crappie. If you're further north in other states, you could catch smallmouth and walleye and all the rest. I've caught catfish on them, channel cats, blue cats. You don't know what you're going to do, but you don't know what you're going to come up with, but you're going to catch fish on them. If you just throw them consistently and you continually do it, something's going to strike that, because it mimics the response really of, or it triggers the instinct of that fish because of that little flashing blade. And so it's giving off that vibration just like a spinnerbait does, but it's much easier to pull through the water. You can move it a lot faster. You can allow it to fall and pick it up. I mean, there's lots of things that you can do with it. There's a place nearby, Grand Bayou, that is a lake that I visited in a previous video. I did some bass fishing. But that particular lake, by the way, I've gone there without having good electronics or anything like that to figure out where the crappie were. I've taken rods, like these spinning rod, put a beetle spin on it, throw it out, set the rod down, grab another rod and do the same thing, and allow the wind just to drift me across, and those things just sort of fluttering along in the bottom, and caught 2-pound crappie doing that. They just flat work. And it's much easier for someone, especially when they're learning, to use a bait that provides all of the action for you. It's not really relevant to the person who's using it, right? It just works. And that's going to come in a future video of letting the bait do the work for you, right? Too many times I think we want to be involved in every aspect of what that bait's doing in order to make sure that we produce the fish that we want to produce. But really, we can get it out of our hands so that the bait does the work and allow the fish to strike it, because that's what it was designed to do, right? Sometimes I think we're trying to use these things out of the design spec to try to prove ourselves or something, but that's just not how it works. And the other thing is, because they're so small and light, you can throw these things with spinning reels, with closed face reels. You can probably throw them with a bait caster, at least the larger ones. But the smaller ones, you're just not going to do it, I don't think, unless you have a sort of maybe a medium light rod or a medium rod with a really slow action on it. Something that has a lot of whip so that you can throw that light bait out there. But they just work, guys. They just work. So if you're somewhere, you're not sure what to do, where to start, you just want to catch a fish, you go to this body of water, you're not even sure what species are in there, then throw a beetle spin and wait and see what's going to happen, because it's going to produce results for you. Keep them in the boat. If you're ever out there and you're struggling with bass or something else, and you begin to see other fish striking or moving or hitting, but they just don't want your bait, throw a beetle spin and see what happens. See what it produces. Maybe there's something going on that you're not aware of, and that beetle spin will let you know what it is. All right, so I hope this is helpful for you. Again, for most people, this is something that's old hat. There's a lot of people that probably wouldn't use it because they'd feel like it was beneath them. Well, it's not beneath me to use a beetle spin. It shouldn't be beneath you to use one either. They really work, guys. They just do. So make sure you have them. They're cheap, and especially, by the way, if you're pond hopping or something like that, where you're not sure what's in there, you're not sure about the size of the fish, take a couple of sizes of beetle spins. You can just throw them in your pocket. You don't need anything else. Take your rod, take on over there, throw them out, catch some fish. They just flat work. All right, so speaking of, I'm gonna fish for some bass here again in a new area where I've never been. I'm gonna have a beetle spin, about to tie it on here, and I'm gonna throw it occasionally, see what I pick up, just to get an idea of what's going on out here. Maybe I'll pick up some crappie. All right, so see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Even these little bass can't resist the beetle spin. I didn't say some of these will catch the biggest fish, but they'll catch fish.